Hi, I'm Vanessa Kisowile, leader of Sahara Sparks. This year's event is looking to explore what is in store for Africa after 2020. This year has been one of a kind. It has brought unprecedented events. But hey, what should we invest more in the continent after this year's experience? What are the areas we need to focus more? What are the lessons that we've had? And what is most important for Africa when it comes to job creation, when it comes to investment, even growing the business and investment landscape of each region in Africa? This year, we're looking to see how can we reimagine the future of the continent. You're welcome. See you there. Now, yeah. Yeah, move that side, yeah. Yeah. Hi guys. Can everybody hear me? Perfect. Um, Hi Mo. Hi Mampinge. Hi
Hey,
Blessing,
hi.
Rahul, Albert, Gilsand, John, Patrick, Shama, Janine, and everybody else. So you're welcome. Um, So this year has been quite an exciting experience. I think we can all agree with that. And one of many norms in our lives have completely been changed. So for that reason, even the norm of what we have been used to as a company has been changed. My name is Vanessa Kisowile. I work with Sahara Ventures. It's an investment and consulting firm here in Tanzania. It's a group of companies. We have three companies. We have Sahara Accelerator, which is our accelerating and investment wing that works with startups and SMEs here in Tanzania. But we also have a consulting firm that focuses on project management, incorporation, technology, and innovation in the project for social good. And then we have Sahara Sparks Events Limited, which is an event management company. And that's where I lie. I lead Sahara Sparks, and one of our flagship events is called Sahara Sparks. It is a platform for entrepreneurs, innovators, and every other startup and entrepreneurship ecosystem player in the country and outside the country, outside Tanzania, in the African continent, and in the globe. We have been operating for about 5 years now. This was supposed to be like our big, 5-year anniversary celebration, and then oh man, 2020 decided to give us a package of its own. So we have been operating in about before this year in about 6 countries. And the reason why, it's because our aim and our mission is to building the innovation ecosystem one block at a time in Tanzania and across Africa. And through Sahara Sparks, what we're doing is creating platforms that can showcase African innovation, but also connect African entrepreneurs across the globe and with an outside market. So we have been in Kenya, Nigeria, we've been in Zambia, we've been in Malawi, we've been in Uganda. And this year has been fascinating. Each year we work with different ecosystem players. And this year we're working with My Growth Fund, a South African investment firm. This year we're having a Pan-African conversation. So one of the things that we normally do during Sahara Sparks is really scout or look, analyze across the globe what are the challenges, or within Tanzania. So for that reason, every year has a theme. We started with breaking the barriers, because by then the innovation and technology ecosystem in Tanzania was very young, like pretty young. And then we came innovation in the data age. And then towards smart solutions. We're talking about smart cities and smart solutions, adaptation of mobile money and all. And then we came innovation in the data age, how data could be used to transform the African continent. We came with Africa and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. When the whole world is talking about the Fourth Industrial Revolution, what should Africa be prepared for? And this year we're talking about Africa beyond 2020. What is the future of the continent beyond 2020? This year has come with its own package. We all know that. But one of the things that has definitely been impacted is the workforce and the way we work. the way businesses function, the way we employ people, the way we recruit people, where people work, and stuff like that. So these are kind of conversation that we're looking to have across the Sahara Spark season. The main event, the main conference will be on the 27th. And the investors marketplace will be on the 28th. So this Friday and this Saturday, I am hoping you guys will join us. But I'm not going to take much of your time. I believe our speakers will have a lot of contribution. So I'm just going to take this back to Mwampinge. Thank you for having me, and I'm really looking forward to a great conversation.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you guys for joining us today. We are happy to partner with the Sahara this year for this event because when they contacted us and told us they want us to, to be with them at this event, we were like, oh, fantastic, because this year, 2020, actually, it really shaped the future of work. And for us at Wekinasi, that's what we do. That's the main area or main focus area which you're working at. So as she introduced me, my name is Edgar Mwampinge, and I'm the founder and CEO at Wekinasi. So Wekinasi is a technology company which is focusing on building digital products for African markets. And as I said, currently we're more focusing on building products which enhance the future of work in Africa. And why do I say the future of work in Africa? We know that the future, when we talk about the future of work, it's a broad way. It's a broad word. It's also a broad sector. We're talking about AI. We're talking about robotics. We are talking about, freelancing, how people works. But what is the future of work in African context? So, I mean, we have to be realistic that Africa is actually quite different from other markets and other countries when it comes to innovation, when it comes to these things of technology. So for us, we are building products which also fit into our environment, fit into Africa. So currently we are running two platforms, which is wekinas.com and wekinasplus.com. So wekinas.com, it's an online platform for listing, renting, and managing co-working spaces, shared office spaces, as well as meeting rooms and event spaces. Why we created wekinas.com? It's because we were actually looking where the future is heading to, how people are going to be working, and how people do prefer to work right now. And prior to COVID-19, it was a bit hard to explain to people about the future of work, that people actually can work from anywhere. Because for us, when we tell people, we tell them that in next few years or currently people will be working from anywhere. Yes, we understand corporates and big companies still prefer people to be at the same places, but we have learned in 2020 that actually that's possible. People can work from anywhere. For us, we started that advocating that prior to COVID-19. So we built Wekinas to help people who are looking for places to work across the continent. So we are listing co-working spaces and shared office spaces from across the world for people who are looking for a place to work from. And on the other hand, being in the same industry, analyzing where the future is heading to, we also came to realize that freelancing and remote working is rising. Yes, we are building co-working spaces for people we are listing co-working spaces for people to get places to work where they can work from anywhere. So who are these people? Where are they working to? Well, I mean, how are they working? So we realize that freelancing and remote working is rising. So we also built a platform called wekinasplus.com, whereby we connect the African freelancers, mostly skilled freelancers, with the people who are looking for freelancers and actual remote workers. So it's not just freelancers. Some of the companies now employ people remotely. So we have remote workers and we have freelancers in the platform. And as I'm speaking right now, we are just finishing to upgrade the platform whereby people will be able to create an entire team of freelancers or remote workers seamlessly in the platform. So you don't need to hire people be at one place. You can hire people from across the globe because you understand the skill set or skilled people scattered everywhere in Africa. So you don't need to look much. You can just go to the platform and you create an entire team of freelancers or remote workers working with you, working with your company, and you can manage everything within the platform. So from task management, whether it's real time chatting with your team or video conferencing, we are building that, and we are building with African context in mind, whereby we enable some of the things which you cannot get from these global platforms. For example, maybe some mobile money and other payment systems. For example, if you're working in these global platforms, they use PayPal and some of the payment methods which are not working or not user-friendly in Africa. So we are building our platform with that African context in mind. I don't want to take much of your time. I'm also curious and looking forward to hear more from our speakers. So I will end from here, and I would love to welcome Ms. Florence Nkini, who is our moderator today, to open this and start inviting the speakers. And once again, thank you guys for joining us, and you're all welcome. And let's have a great discussion and build our content together. Thank you so very much.
Oh, hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Florence Nkini, and I'm really honored to be part of this discussion, this very insightful, wonderful discussion. And I'll be with you today as the moderator for this wonderful discussion. So we do have very important people today who are going to be our speakers. They have some interesting backgrounds, and we'd like to hear a lot from them. And let's go straight to the discussion that we're going to have today. We'll be discussing about reflecting on the future of work in Africa, basically on 4 concepts: remote working, co-working spaces, freelancing, and digital employment opportunities. We'll be basing in those areas. And we have these wonderful speakers. We'll be having Gilsantim Laseko. This is a digital marketing guru. He's the founder and CEO of Swahili Digital. So with him, he'll be speaking about digital employment opportunities. And then we have Mohamed Shelimo. He is the community program manager at Seed Space. And for him, he'll be speaking about co-working spaces and remote working. Very interesting. And then we also have Janine Bazel, our very own lady in this industry. Together, he's the founder of Acro Capital, and she will be speaking about remote working and co-working spaces. And then last but not the least, we have Mark Mabidilala, and founder of Pengo Insights. And for him, he'll be giving us insights on freelancing and digital employment opportunities. So to begin with, I'll give 2 to 3 minutes to our speakers for each to give us insights on their topics of concerns. And then after that, we'll have our discussion. And then later on, I'll be taking questions from the viewers. So I'd like to welcome Mark Mabidilala.
Thank you very much, Vanessa, and welcome to everyone out there. So I think that the conversation around like freelancing sort of needs to be seen within the context of the marketplace theory. You know, that there's obviously the two forces of demand and supply. You know, so you've got talent on the supply side, and then jobs on the other side, right? And I think within Africa, certainly, you know, there's a sense that we have come a long way, you know, in making sure that from the supply side, you know, there's more and more skilled talent that is coming through, you know, and I think that the the work that Edgar and team are doing at WorkNasi, is giving platforms to this talent to actually sort of enter into meaningful jobs and to work. The challenge that I see, right, and I think that is a key challenge for us to solve as we look 2020 beyond, is how do we solve for the demand side? So I think so if you look at a sort of article that was published recently by a financial services firm called Payoneer, and they show that about 10% of all global sort of freelancers are from Africa. So I think whether or not we see that as a lot or not, it shows us that we are certainly starting to see growth, right? But having said that, what's key for us as freelancers and people that want to actually sort of start to enter into this future of work is that we need to understand that we're operating in a global space. So the kind of freelance talent that we need to be creating within Africa needs to be competitive at a global level, right? Because, for instance, from a technology perspective, a client that is looking to hire a software developer has access to a global pool of freelance talent, and I think that part of what we need to do is to start changing and framing that narrative about the fact that Africa has skilled talent, that is ready to work, and we have platforms like, for example, like WorkNasi that have these sort of pool of freelancers, for the global sort of community to actually start to access it. I think lastly, part of what we need to certainly do as business owners within the space is that we need to be really start to sort of champion, the sort of community, so I am keen to see more and more local business owners making use of local sort of freelancers, because we need to be driving that intent, of demonstrating that our freelance talent, is of a global standard, and we can actually back them, by sort of making sure, that from a sort of job perspective, they get access to the right opportunities. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Mark. You have mentioned some key things, and then we'll come back to that after Janine. Please, I'd like to welcome Janine. Yes, please welcome.
Thank you, Florence. Thank you. So I come from a space where I work with startups and provide them with acceleration, investment, etc. And one of the things that we did along the way was provide a space of like-minded people, because we understand it's a hard journey of entrepreneurship, and to be surrounded by like-minded people that you can either call on for inspiration or to buoy you up, or for knowledge, or the various collaborations needed. So that's how I've come into this space. And so, I've seen some changes, and so I'm speaking to it a little bit differently to Mac. But yeah, there's been some huge changes in terms of the co-working spaces we've got. We've now got more and more companies that are not wanting to sign on to their big leases, wanting to rather provide a satellite offices for various workers to come in and out of. And I think the most important thing that Mac, for me, that resonated with me that Mac said was, we have to know, as people working in this environment, we're not working within South Africa and Africa. We have the opportunity now more than ever to work on the global stage. And so are we, providing whatever that means to be on the global stage. So I'd love to talk to that if we get some time. But yeah, I think there's, startups are at the forefront of change and innovation, and they're also at the forefront of using tech and innovation. So I think, startups are in the unique position to push an agenda and to be at the forefront of change. In terms of the, whether this is going to last or not, the sustainability, I've definitely got my view on it, but I think 2021 will tell the story. Looking forward to 2021. And I think that there's a tremendous amount of change going on, and it's exciting to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. And moving on, I'll welcome Gilson.
Hello, guys. Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank all the organizers of this session. It is really exciting, and it is around the space or industry where I have been working for years. My full name is Gilsant Mlaseko. I am a digital marketer. I've been dealing with digital marketing for almost 9 years now. Yeah, professionally. Like I have a company called Swahili Digital. We manage from social media accounts to developing software, website, influencer marketing, training, and stuff like that. So we have been there in the market where the future of work currently is right now. And we have a mission or a vision that we are trying to achieve as a Swahili Digital. We would like to empower 100,000 youth with digital skills until 2022. As Mark has mentioned that yes, we have a lot of freelancing platform and people are joining freelancer platform, but if they don't have like a proper skill or like a really good advanced skills regarding on the digital skills, it will be really difficult for them to compete with other international, international freelancers. So we have observed that. Also, we have observed that there's a big trend, especially in our country, Tanzania. Now people are either hiring or are starting online businesses, and there's a lot of people who don't know how to operate all those stuff. So we are giving them that lesson. We are skilling those people so that either they can get employed or get a job, get gigs, get freelancer jobs outside and inside Tanzania. So that's is our main aim on the future of work. So I think maybe later onwards there'll be a specific question for me, but in a nutshell, that is what we are trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Gilson. I really have a question for that. Now you have touched something that I really like to know more about it, and I'm sure everybody will really wish to know. Please, Mohammed, would like to hear from you.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. So my name is Mohammed Shalimo, and I'm the programs manager at SeedStars. So for me, I think ideally over the past 5 years, I've been engaged in areas where we work to provide capacity building and spaces to work for entrepreneurs in Sub-Sahara. So I'll be more ideal in discussing opportunities that are available in co-working spaces. If you're interested to run a co-work space as a business yourself, or opportunities that are available for you as an entrepreneur, and also perks that come along as well with working with 100, 200 different strangers in the same space. Also, the cons, the disadvantages that might also be available that you expect if you want to work in the co-working spaces, and also to look at the future of co-working spaces in Africa post-COVID, how we've, co-working spaces are trying to also tackle and look around supporting entrepreneurs and digital nomads in working in these spaces amidst all the challenges that we have in the COVID area. Also, in terms of commercializing, freelancers are probably contribute, for instance, in our space, like 40 to 50% of the community members. So how they've been able to come and focus in one type of skill and then build another one and then collaborate with other people and then, created more gigs and money for themselves in the co-working space. That is something else that I'll be keen to also explore and share with everybody else. Otherwise, I'm also excited and I can't wait to hear the questions that we have from everyone.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. Now that we have all heard some insights from our guest speakers, I'll welcome the discussion session now, and I'll be having questions to each speakers based on the insights from you and your background. So I'll start with Mark. Mark, I noticed that you mentioned about there is a need for Africans, you mentioned about 10% of Africans participate 10% of freelancers from Africa. And then, so for that, there is a need for Africans as freelancers to be competitive. So how can the policymakers and institutions empower youth? We speak of youth who are still in school, who have just graduated, or those who have just graduated. How can the policymakers and institutions empower them on these digital employment opportunities? And not just them, what about the current workforce, the employers, institutions? How can they, empower this group on digital employment opportunities so as to be competitive, as you mentioned?
Yeah, sure. I think that's a very, very good question, right? And it's a fundamental question, right? Because just back to this notion of a marketplace, there are certain skills, that are in demand today and will be in demand for the future. So I think that it's the sort of onus on sort of government sort of ministries, right, to make sure that we're actually preparing our populations for the jobs of the future. So more and more work, right, needs to be done to get, for instance, children at school to study science as well as technology. And these new waves of concepts, that need then to almost sort of prepare them for the future of work. In many nations, I think, and I'll speak about South Africa, right? For instance, our sort of schooling system, is perhaps 20 years behind where, things are today. So we're having this almost like sort of influx of young people leaving secondary school, right? But they're entering the job market, but the skills that they have aren't actually relevant, Yeah, so I think that part of us being competitive sort of globally, right, is making sure that our population has the right skills, to actually benefit from the jobs of the future.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. And I'll go back to the viewers. So from the viewers, if you have any question, please type it on the message, and then we'll collect them and ask our speakers at the end of the session. And this time I have a question for Gilsant, because you mentioned that currently you're on a mission to empower 100,000 youth on digital marketing skills. That's very exciting. I would like to know about, most of the times when you speak of digital marketing skills, people think of coding or these complex, computer languages. So by that, what do you mean with, what are those skills? And what about someone who is less educated? Let's say my grandma who is in Masasi. Are these skills going to benefit my grandmother who is in Masasi, who actually really is not that educated? Can someone be able, who is not educated, can she or he be able to adapt them?
Okay, very interesting question, actually, Florence. Regarding your first question, digital marketing doesn't involve coding or programming, no. Mm-hmm. There is some components in digital marketing. Example, social media marketing is within digital marketing, okay? And social media marketing, as you know, is doing marketing via social media channels. There is a traditional marketing and there is a digital marketing. Traditional marketing is by when you see people advertising things on TV, billboard, radio, newspaper and stuff, but we do everything online. Let's say if you want to start a business, you have a brand, you have personal brand, anything that you want to push it online. As you know, the movement now it's digital, and the freelancing and future of work it's there. So example, in Tanzania, there are until let's say Q1 of 2020, there are almost 30 million internet users. Okay, so 30 million internet users. Let us assume 10 millions are using social media, okay? So there's a lot of opportunity you can get there, either by selling a service or helping someone sell a service, helping someone sell a product. There's a company, there's a lot of jobs now you can see on the job boards, on the website that advertise jobs. They're looking for social media marketer or manager or engager, social media manager, all those kind of jobs, you know. And in real sense, there is no school that teach you that specific course. Like you need to learn this and that so that you can be a social media manager. And there are a lot of courses online. There's a YouTube videos and stuff like that. But according to my experience, I have checked almost many of them. They can give you like one full package when you leave, or after finishing that, you'll be competent, like, okay, now I am total fully a digital marketer, expert. So since we have seen there is a lot of gaps like that, so we have developed like a syllabus, a course, whereby we teach you so that after, when you finish that, you have like, you're complete a digital marketer. And when you have that skill, you can do so many things with it. You know, you can start your own, you can start a business yourself without even getting employed. Let's say you have a skill, there's a lot of things now, people sell them online. You can use the same skill to start your own business. And either if you're not a business type, you can use the same skill and get employed somewhere. There's a lot of people who needs a digital marketer or social media manager and stuff like that. You can use the same knowledge to manage others people's business. Example, you're Bibi from Nachingwea. Okay, maybe he might not know well how to use social media, but she can hire someone who I have trained, you know, and then that person can manage her businesses. And it doesn't need for him to meet or to go and see her face-to-face or something like that. Because let's say currently I have clients which are not even in Tanzania. I have worked with people who are not in Tanzania. I have give jobs and gigs people who are not in Tanzania. Some people from India, China, UK, Turkey, everywhere, you know, like that. So back to the second question, which you asked about how I can help people maybe who are not in Dar, let's say, or in Tanzania. The plan is currently we are on developing stage. We are developing a platform, online platform, online course platform, whereby people can go there and study any of these materials. And then after that, they can apply it anywhere in the world. So yeah, in summary, I think I have answered your question, I think.
Yeah. But you know, the sad part is this whole concept of digital skills. Most of us, we get to hear it after graduating or when you're in university. So it's a new concept. You get to hear it when you're in university. So my other question will be, do you think, or are you advising that digital marketing skills should be incorporated in the academic curriculums, or should it be taught in schools, and from what level?
Exactly. I think it is a must. In other words, yes, it is a must. I think people should know this thing before they leave school. And maybe university, high school to university level, yeah, that's a perfect time to impact people with that skill. Because we have seen like there's a lot of people who are going to university, so they need something, they need some certain skills so that they can survive, you know, get jobs, employment and stuff. So yeah, from I think a level is fine, and university level is fine.
Thank you very much, Gilsant.
Thank you.
We move to Mohammed and Janine. Janine, you two both works on the co-working spaces, both in the advanced economy from I'm speaking of Janine in South Africa, and then Mohammed is working on the co-working space in Tanzania, which is not that advanced. It doesn't have that advanced economy as in South Africa. So I have a question for you both. How fast is this concept spread in Tanzania as of in South Africa? And based on in Africa in general, can we say that we are like ahead of time, or are we on time? Is this something needed in Africa or in Tanzania or in South Africa at the moment? I'll go to Janine, please.
Thank you for that question. So my experience is that people will come to us for co-working spaces. And if you understand the original terminology of co-working, it's to work next to, right? To next to. So in other words, a shared combined space. But I've had through the last few years, I've had so many people coming to me interested in the co-working space, and then in the same breath, what offices do I have? So, you know, when I first set up my co-working spaces, I set them up as what I understand from the US, which is where I lived for a number of years, to be open co-working spaces. I thought it was the most cost-effective thing in the South African African environment for workers. And yet, even though people were coming to me for co-working, they wanted offices in the same breath. So my offices were all being snapped up and taken, but the co-working space was standing empty, which is kind of defeating the object. So I think that kind of answers your question from that point of view, that we're a little bit behind. We understand the concept, but we're not actually utilizing it for what it should be used for, which is to cut down on expenses, provide a community of like-minded people, to draw on each other's strengths, to connect and grow your own business through a networking system. And used it, certainly, interestingly enough, a lot of international people who are living and working in South Africa, they understand it, and they totally get the concept and are happy with the co-working space and what it's supposed to do. In other words, cut down expenses. But yeah, it's been a little bit longer to take hold of in terms of the born and bred South Africans. That's been my experience. Yeah, I don't know if you want me to expand a bit more on that, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. What about Mo? Let's hear from you.
Yeah. So on the first question, in terms of like the adoption
so
of,
I don't know if Gilson from Tanzania, if he's had a different experience in terms of, you know, the setup there.
Yeah, basically we have, but as you know, we are really good at adapting new things, and yeah, so far it's challenging, but we move. Yeah.
We can hear you, Mohammed. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I think it's my connection that is. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
And everyone. Oh,
yeah. Yes.
All right. So I think so. For the first question, Florence, in terms of the adoption of co-working spaces in Tanzania, so well, I think the pace of adoption is actually quite convincing. I mean, I'd look at Dar es Salaam, for instance, exactly 2 years ago. You go to worknazi.com, you would hardly find 10 spaces listed. And that is because we didn't have enough co-working spaces for people to work on. And now there's like multiple options for people to go to. So that alone tells you that there is quite an understanding about the product already in the market. Comparing to South Africa, well, I don't think we're ready to keep up with the pace that the cities, you know, the likes of like Pretoria, Johannesburg, and Cape Town have at the moment. But I think for Dar es Salaam alone in Tanzania, it's quite convincing. I think the space is growing quite fast, and there's multiple options. People have options to go and work with with the co-working spaces that also offer entrepreneurship support. They have options to go and work with strictly only co-working spaces. We have global companies like Regus also present in Tanzania, and they have multiple spaces. So I think the space is growing quite well. And on the second question, So are we ahead of time in terms of introducing the concept in Tanzania? So I'd say yes and no. So I think it's a no for a city like Dar es Salaam, because I think it's, there's 6-7 million people already living in here. It's fast growing cities. There's going to be more people than any other city in Africa in the next 10 years in Dar es Salaam. And now these people definitely need more alternative spaces to work. And people are traveling every single year into Dar es Salaam. And they're not going to stuck into the old ways of working in the coffee shops alone or locking themselves up in the hotels. So I think for Dar es Salaam, it's the right moment to introduce the concept. But if I look at the areas in the rest part of the country where they have less touristic attractions, I think co-working spaces are more ideal for startups and small and medium enterprises growing. And these people need more than just co-working spaces at distance at the moment. They need training, they need access to finance, they need skills. So I would say, if I would rank the problems, I would not say a co-working space is the immediate pain. So I think for them, yes, it will be too early to introduce the concept in other parts of the country. They probably need much more services before we even bring the co-working spaces, unless these co-working spaces also offer entrepreneurship support and all the other benefits that the entrepreneurs are striving for. Yeah.
Okay. And I'd like to know also, what do you think, what's the future of co-working spaces in, cities that are not Dar es Salaam? We speak of Dodoma, let's speak of Mtwara, Zanzibar, such cities. What's the future of co-working spaces in those areas?
Well, I think, there's definitely space for growth. There's definitely room for improvement. For anybody who's introducing a co-working space as a business in the cities, they first need to practice a tremendous amount of patience. You need to be patient because people first need to understand what, you're going to have the first 6 months of operating with one client. And that doesn't mean that your product is not ideal. It's just that people, they're not used to that environment that they go sit with 100 different strangers and share co-working space or share the same internet. So it scares people away. And again, we have not also grown into the culture of working with people that we do not know on daily basis every day. So it's something that it needs to be introduced slowly. So it's definitely a concept that I see growing in the future, but we need to accept that it's going to be a process that's going to be a bit painful and deserves a lot of patience. And we need to allow the people to learn and adapt the concept slowly. But I'm quite sure in the next few years, it's definitely not going to be something that we're afraid of in terms of growth.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I'd like to go to Mark and Gilsant with this question. I think I'll ask you both from different angle, from the South Africa and from Tanzania. Again, it's about the legal implications of remote working as these freelancers. What are the legal implications? We all know that they are not in the payroll. What about their benefits? Do we need to develop, is there a need to develop a policy that protect the freelancers in Tanzania and South Africa? What is your insight? What are your insights on this, Mark?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge that a lot of local sort of government are actually seeing, right? And I think first and foremost, from a taxation perspective, just how you actually draw tax, from a community of people that aren't on a certain sort of payroll, and I think that there's more and more sort of articles and guidelines that are shared, certainly here in South Africa, that are helping freelancers to actually sort of manage their taxation. I think the South African Revenue Service has made it much easier, for anyone, to actually manage their sort of tax affairs by themselves safely online. And I think that certainly goes a long way to helping people to be compliant. The other ones, I think from a for example, with the gig sort of economy, and you're seeing with the challenges that the likes of like Uber, are starting to actually come into globally, is when do you actually so classify someone as a worker, and when do you not? So I think that those kind of questions are certainly going to become more and more salient. But government really needs to be open to shaping future policy, to ensure that they can, one, be able to still sort of get tax sort of revenue, from this new way of working, but also just to make it easy for people to actually do the work that they need to do.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Gilsand.
Yeah, not far from Mark, but on in Tanzania perspective, I think we don't have like a really kind of strict rules regarding the freelancing stuff. I think our government hasn't yet started crack down all the people that are working online. You need to pay this, you need to pay that. No, because I have been freelancing. Hiring freelancers as well as selling other services through freelancing platforms. Okay, so it is not yet harsh, but I think it is needed. We need some like a policy and stuff like that. So as freelancers should know like how are we going to pay our taxes and what are the ways and stuff like that. Regarding protecting the freelancer themselves, if you're using, let's say, international platforms, it's extremely easy because they have already put their policy there, rules, everything there. So no one can maybe do something crazy, nothing. Like maybe if you're using or you have registered yourself on freelancer.com. It is a big platform where a lot of international freelancers are there. So there's rules and guides that are helping freelancer to survive. So that's okay. And here we have platform like WorkNasi Plus, which freelancer can register and use and sell their gigs there. So I think also it's a challenge and opportunity for someone like Albert and Edgar to think on how they can implement maybe other positive areas. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gilsand. Back to the viewers, I still welcome questions. If you have any question, please send it to us or by typing the message there. And due to the time, I have one last question. I still have plenty, but we are really ahead of time. So I'll just ask one last question to Janine. Since you are the only woman in the field for now, so we have all seen that the world of innovation and technology is dominated by male. So what can we do to address that? And you also mentioned that you're working with startups. So I'm sure you're working on something with regards to that.
Wow, Florence, you're not going to be aware of this, but I mean, thank you for the question. I've actually, in my journey, I realized the difficulties I had, and it was out of my own journey of not of various issues that came my way, that I actually started another business called Girl Boss Hustle. And Girl Boss Hustle is exactly to address that. It's multiple. It's not only about the opportunities, it's actually about the woman herself finding her power and confidence in taking the action and the steps and allowing herself to be loud and proud in the workspace, and not waiting for permission, but to step forward boldly. And it sounds very trite, but these are issues that I myself had, and I thought I cannot be the only woman who's dealing with this. Confident woman, I'm well educated, and yet I was battling to take front and center stage of my own business. And so, as I said, I started something called Girl Boss Hustle as an initiative for 2 years. And through COVID, I thought, okay, this is it. This is the time to a fully fledged business. So everyone's welcome to join us on the private Facebook group, Girl Boss Hustle. Or on our website, ACRA, we've got a page dedicated to it. And at this stage, it's, you know, we help in various ways. It's not tech. I just would reach out to any woman here to say, please don't wait for permission to own your space or to pave your own journey. Just reach out and form a network of people that will support you, men and women. So, and obviously to the men, you know, I just ask, you know, just be, I'm not asking anyone to be more generous than they would for a fellow, but just to have a generous heart in helping women forward in their own journey. If you don't mind, I want to just go back 1 second to the question that you put through to Mac and Gilsant about legalities, and they're both addressed from the government point of view. And Gilsant just spoke about, you know, freelancers getting going on to international sites and everything set up there. But please don't forget, you as a freelancer, you know, you're welcome to put together your, you know, kind of things that I've seen a lot of. Here it is, you know, okay, this project you decide you want to do, but, you know, a job can go on and on because people say, no, you haven't given me what I've asked for. No, you haven't given me what I've asked for. So, and make sure that this is out with a quote, and that that it includes, as I said, however many iterations you're prepared to do as a freelancer. But I just felt that was an important point not to be left out for any freelancers listening in. So sorry to divert it on that, but yeah. So have I answered about the woman?
Yes, you did.
Have I answered you satisfactorily about women?
Yes.
In the space?
Hi, hello. Hello, Janine, can you hear me?
I've answered you. Good.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Thank you.
So right now I'll be taking questions from the viewers, and back to the speakers. Do you have anything that you think you should add more in our discussion?
Yeah, just some, I guess, closing sort of remarks before we take on any questions.
Yeah, sorry, is it delayed? Did you not hear? Yeah, I've basically finished talking about the woman. Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, can you not hear me anymore? Okay, super, thanks.
Okay, can I go?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I think just in sort of closing, right? I think that as Africa, we are certainly really going to be faced with a jobs sort of crisis, you know, and I think that there's so much movement to the city. There's lots of youth that are coming through, you know, and I think that the future of work, you know, for me is a great opportunity, right, for us to get this future population ready for the work that they need to do, you know, in the future, you know. So I think the sort of conversation around like co-working, you know, is one that is interesting, you know, but we need people to have work to do, you know, in those spaces, you know. So I'm really keen for us as a community, you know, to really see this as a great opportunity, you know, to help shape how people can actually get access to work, you know, in this new way of actually doing things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. We have 2 questions as of now. Please, viewers, if you have any questions, type it there and we'll be asking our speakers. So we have a question from Rahul Patel. He's running a Pan-African
Pan-African skills marketplace called Tech Nights. His question is to the panel about the type of skills which we should be training for to make sure Africa can differentiate itself versus the cheap labor skills in Asia, where digital skills are already quite advanced. So I'll be sending this question to, I think Mark, you spoke about this.
Yeah, sure. So in fact, in my notes, just in terms of sort of preparing for this session, one of the key things I think that we need to perhaps think about is what is our niche going to be? And this might differ by country, right? In TZ it might be something else. In sort of SA it might be something else. Because I think that this notion of us being globally competitive, there are certain sort of areas where we are perhaps not going to be able to actually compete, and so I don't have the answer to your question, Rahul, right? But I'm just sort of noting that it's a fundamental question, that each sort of set of stakeholders in their country just needs to think about. What is our key skill set that we can take to the marketplace, and actually be very, very competitive with it.
Yes, thank you. I hope Rahul found something from that. And I'll go to the other question. This one is for Gilsant, straight to Gilsant. How do you find the projects? I'm pretty sure people find you concerning digital marketing services. Can you please share how you started and how was it to attract people for your services? I guess they're asking about how you started this actual business of yours and how you attract your market. How do people get to know you about your service?
Right, thanks. To be honest, it's really difficult when you're starting, because people, they don't know you, they don't know your brand, they don't know what you can do for them and stuff like that. So first you need to attract like a really potential, well-known type of client, especially if you want to deal with corporates, because corporates work with names, so you need to hunt all those big projects. And the big projects, when you're beginning or when you're starting, sometimes we did it for free. Like we just give them like demo or something, trial, 1 month, 2 months trial, so that we can build a name, we can build a brand and stuff like that. So we have done a lot of that part. And the second thing is networking. Networking is really, really big. You should be in front of your clients, let's say I want to work with the corporate people. So you need to go where the corporate people hang out. People need to know your company. There's a big competition there. And without forgetting, writing a lot of pitch, a lot of presentation, a lot of the strategy and stuff. So eventually, when you get 1, 2 clients, 3 clients, and then later onwards, it becomes word of mouth. And let's say as it is right now, we don't push much in marketing. We are getting a lot of clients through word of mouth. Like, I've worked with Gilsant, he's really good. You can work with him and stuff like that. So yes, there is a little bit of work in the beginning, pushing your name out there, doing great job. Yeah, that's even a bigger part. You need to deliver like really, really a great job so that you can get those positive feedback and testimonial and review so that you can get other clients. Yeah, so that's in summary. There's a lot of work to do in the beginning.
Thank you very much, Gilsant. And I agree with you on that because I've really seen you like busy doing that. Is in networking and social media. I've really seen you doing that for real. Yeah. So we have, so if you have any question or further details from the viewers, you're allowed to send us questions through our social media and Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, through Wake Nasi or Wake Nasi Plus. So if you have any further question, you can send it to us and then we'll send it directly to the speakers and then you'll get your feedback. I have one last question. This one, they're asking about accessibility to internet is somehow questionable to some of the, it's somehow questionable in Africa, some parts in Africa. So when we speak of remote working, how can we address this? Or should we just ignore that part of the population and assume that they will not be part of this cake of innovation? They will not enjoy this fruit of innovation. Please, more assistance on that.
As for me, I'll speak now mostly in terms of like co-working spaces. So first, I think in contextualizing, not everyone that comes into the co-working spaces for their work always need internet. But of course, for our space, 90% of the people who are active in the space, they cannot do their work without internet. Now, it's more of a chicken egg business, because if you want to have reliable internet in Africa, it's very expensive, which means your cost of operations goes high, which means now you have to charge your people more higher, and then most people can't afford to have expensive spaces in Africa. So you try to look for the balance, really, like look for partners, look for ways that you could look for the balance. But in Tanzania, in my experience, we've been able to quite accommodate, most co-working spaces I know have been able to quite accommodate stable connections for users in the co-working spaces. And I think that's naturally because most people that come in the co-working spaces would not be able to benefit or work if you don't have stable connections.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. We really got something from that. This is the end of our discussion. I would really like to thank all of the speakers for the wonderful insights. We really have learned a lot from you. And to the viewers, if you have any other question, please send it to our social media accounts, WakeNasi, WakeNasi Plus, or WakeNasi Plus. And if you have any need to contact our speakers, you can also find their details in our social media accounts. So at this moment, I'd like to welcome Mr. Jumanne Mtambalike. He's the CEO of Sahara Ventures. So he'll be taking us on closing this. And thank you very much for all the speakers for being with us. Karibu, Jumanne.
Thank you, Florence. I hope you guys can hear me. Hello, guys. So I'm very humbled and honored to have this opportunity to do the closing remarks. No protocols. I'm an engineer. I don't know much of protocols. I just love to appreciate, first of all, our partner, WakeNasi and WakeNasi Plus. To be honest, you guys have been amazing. You have been impressive. Your work has been like, I don't know, the standard has just been very high, and really the team you've put together, our speakers, is also very amazing, very diverse. The insights were very insightful, and we're very excited to work with you guys. The bottom line, the time is now. Africa is ready. Gig economy, platform economy, digital economy, sharing economy, call whatever you want to call it. The continent should be ready for that. We are the youngest continent in the world. We have 18 million youths who are getting in the job market in the continent every year. And we really need to create jobs for these young people. And technology can play a very crucial part. It can either be an opportunity or a curse. So let's try to make it an opportunity to our youth. And I'm very excited to be part of this movement, as you guys already are. And we're really looking into disruptors and innovators, whether it's WakeNasi in Tanzania, or it's Andela in Nigeria, or it's Gebea in Ethiopia. We want to see these local, powerful platforms that are driving innovation, but also creating employment opportunities for youth in Africa through sharing economy. So I'm very excited, and I'm very humbled, and I'm very honored. Thanks to our speaker and everybody who has been following this. The event is still ongoing. We have a lot of events this week. Please go and register at www.saharasparks.com. Main event is on 27th, and the marketplace for investors and entrepreneurs on 28th. For those who are in Dar and they would love to catch up and have drink, tomorrow evening we'll have what we call Dar Investors Drink. It's going to be happening at the office. So if you want to come and have, booze and catch up with friends, you are invited to come. As well as on 26th, I've been informed there's a lot of drinking this year. We're going to have something at C-Space. So very excited, looking forward to be there. Please, let's work together to make our ecosystem more exciting. Thank you so much, guys, and have a blessed evening.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I wish you a very good evening. I was going to say one more round of applause. I forgot we are doing this virtually. So thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Kisowile, leader of Sahara Sparks. This year's event is looking to explore what is in store for Africa after 2020. This year has been one of a kind. It has brought unprecedented events. But hey, what should we invest more in the continent after this year's experience? What are the areas we need to focus more? What are the lessons that we've had? And what is most important for Africa when it comes to job creation, when it comes to investment, even growing the business and investment landscape of each region in Africa? This year, we're looking to see how can we reimagine the future of the continent. You're welcome. See you there.